Hi, my name's George Wright, and this is We Will Rock You project. And today we're going to have a little look at dynamics and the articulation and words that we use to describe dynamics. Now, first thing to notice about this is the word dynamic itself. What do we mean by that when we're talking about music? So what we basically mean is we're talking about how loud or quiet a piece of music is, okay? So for instance, if you had a rock song or something like that, that would be pretty loud, wouldn't it? So we need to think like, well, how do we describe that it's very loud? Similarly, if you have like a solo violin piece or maybe a concerto or a little piano, that's might be a little bit quieter. So it's like, well, how do we discern the difference between the two? That's what we're going to be talking about today. So first thing first is we need to understand the words that we're going to be using for this, okay? So first thing first, there are two main words that we're using, and they're both in Italian because Western music is all based on Europe and everything. So Western classical music, that is, anyway. So most of the words we get tend to come from mainland Europe. So we have piano, which means quiet, and we have forte, which means with force. Or think of it as being quiet and loud. That's the easiest way to think about it, okay? You have piano, forte. So in terms of the symbols we use when we see this, okay? For piano, it's like a little P. For forte, it's like an F. Let's hear a few little examples of what that sounds like. So, this is piano, okay? So, soft.
The P.
Okay, so that is soft. So, that is like quiet, is basically how we describe that. Okay, so, this is forte. Okay, so forte means loud, strong. So do you hear the difference there? Obviously, forte was a little bit louder than that. Now, the question is, what do we do when we have a piece of music which isn't quite fit into them two descriptions? So similarly, I don't know if you've seen my video on sonato alto tenor bass, but in that we talk about how there's bits in between the main categories just because some things don't quite fit into the descriptions that we already have. So for instance, piano and forte. We have some songs that don't quite fit into that. So it's like, what if something is just a little bit quieter than forte? Or you want something to be played a little bit louder than piano, okay? So this is when we add the Italian word mezzo, which means middle, okay? So what this basically does is it diminuates the forte or the piano, okay? So it basically makes it a little bit less, okay? So you're basically thinking about it as being middle loud for mezzo forte or middle quiet for mezzo piano, okay? So for instance, if it was forte and you wanted to be mezzo forte, that's just a little bit quieter than forte, okay? Similarly, mezzo piano, if you wanted piano to be there, mezzo piano basically means it's a little bit louder than it would have been, a little bit louder than it was, okay? So that's four different words we've got now that we know for different dynamic ranges. We have piano, forte, mezzo forte, and mezzo piano. Now, let's think about the extremes, okay? What do we do if we have a piece of music which is just so loud, it's just crazy, it's just very, very loud? And what do we do if we have something that's so quiet that it's like a mouse speaking, okay? So what do we do for this is we've got two more terms that we need to learn. And these are basically the quietest of the quietest or the loudest of the loudest, okay? And these are pianissimo, okay, which basically means I think it relates officially to being whispering soft or something like that. But it basically means really, really quiet, okay? So pianissimo, really, really quiet. Then we have fortissimo. So do you see the issimo at the end? So that's kind of how you can remember these ones. It's just adding issimo to the end of piano or forte, okay? So fortissimo is very, very loud, okay? Now, how do we write this down? Well, it's fairly easy. And I've got a little example here that I did of all the ones we've done so far. So have a little look at this and I'll show you. So we've got piano, which means quiet, there with a little p, forte, meaning loud, F, mezzo piano and mezzo forte, MF, MP. On the bottom here, pianissimo, meaning whispering soft, PP, and fortissimo meaning very, very loud, FF. Now, let's just have a quick example of very soft and very loud. Pianissimo, okay? So, very quiet. So have a listen. Yeah, so that's pianissimo, very, very quiet. And then fortissimo. Okay, so there are your 4 examples that you've got you of the pieces. So that was it, loudest, basically. So why do we need to know this? What are these good for? Well, basically, these are good ways when we're composing to basically give a description of how we want our performers to play it. And as we know, dynamics are a huge way to get interest in compositions that we're doing and stuff like that. It's one of them things which people don't think about a lot when they're doing compositions either. And it's important to think about because obviously, for instance, if we were doing a verse, chorus sort of thing, you kind of want the chorus to be a bit louder, don't you? Because when you think about it, the chorus is where the excitement is, where the hook is, all right? So you'd put like, forte on for that bit in the chorus. And then verse, you want it to be a little bit quieter just because you kind of want the energy subside a bit so you've got somewhere to grow up to in the chorus and the other sections of the song. So this is why we need to think about this, okay? So I'm just going to quickly go through them all again for you and then we'll call it quits and it's your turn to try and put this into action. So what we have is we have at the very bottom, we have pianissimo, which is whispering soft, the quietest. Then we have piano, which is quiet, okay? Up above that, we have mezzo piano, okay? Which is a little bit louder than that. Then after that, we have mezzo forte, which is the like middle loud. So it's a little bit quieter than forte. Then on top of that, forte. And then finally, on top of that, we have fortissimo, which is the loudest that you have, okay? So have a little think about them. Try and think about listening to some songs and seeing what sort of dynamics you'd say they are in there. And give it a go and just see if it makes a difference to how you compose or write a piece of music, okay? All right, that's me done. I hope to see you next time, guys. Toodaloo.